If I asked you, how much money does someone need to never work again? Most people would probably answer $500,000, maybe $1 million, maybe even $5 million. But here's the interesting part. That answer completely depends on where you live and the lifestyle you want. Imagine making $60,000 per year. In New York City, you're barely surviving. Rent consumes your paycheck, you delay travel, you postpone dreams. Now imagine making that exact same income while living in Colombia, Peru, Portugal, or Thailand. Suddenly, you can afford restaurants, weekend adventures, private gyms, language classes, domestic flights, and maybe even save more money. Same income, completely different quality of life. Because most people optimize one thing, their salary. Almost nobody optimizes where they spend it. Today, I want to show you a concept that completely changed how I think about money. It's called Geo Arbitrage. And honestly, it might be one of the greatest financial hacks that almost nobody talks about. According to the latest World Inequality Report, someone earning about $65,500 per year is already in the top 10% of income earners worldwide. That means someone making $70,000 in the United States might feel perfectly average, or even financially stressed in an expensive city, while simultaneously earning more than roughly 90% of adults on Earth. Now compare that to the United States. The median US household income is about $84,000. To reach the top 10% of US households, you're looking at roughly $250,000 per year, while the threshold for the top 1% of individual earners is several $100,000 annually. So the same income can feel completely different depending on which leaderboard you're looking at. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make with money. They only compare themselves to the people around them, their neighbors, their coworkers, their city. But money doesn't exist in a vacuum. Its value depends on what it can buy. And that's where one of the most powerful financial concepts comes into the picture: Geo Arbitrage. Earning in a strong economy while spending in a lower cost economy to maximize your purchasing power. Geo Arbitrage isn't just about living cheaply. Sometimes it's about living better for the same amount of money. Many times this is enhanced or made possible because of exchange rates. An exchange rate is simply the price of one country's currency in terms of another country's currency. So if you earn money in a strong currency, but live in a country with a weaker currency, you gain even more purchasing power. I actually did this. When I graduated from college, I wasn't rich. I didn't have a six-figure job. I wasn't a digital entrepreneur. I didn't own rental properties. I wasn't making money on YouTube. I had about $5,000. That's it. I sold my car, packed everything I owned into a suitcase, bought a one-way ticket, and moved to South America. Over the next 2 years, I lived in Ecuador, Colombia, and Peru. To support myself, I taught English. I made around $500 per month. Now, by American standards, that sounds almost impossible. But because the cost of living was dramatically lower, it was enough. Not enough to live extravagantly, but enough to live. And what I gained was worth infinitely more than another paycheck. I became fluent in Spanish, climbed mountains I had only seen in pictures, learned to paraglide, trained kung fu, explored ancient ruins, walked through cloud forests, crossed the Andes and explored the Amazon, made friends from all over the world, and experienced cultures completely different from my own. Those 2 years changed my life far more than buying a newer car or working some entry-level job ever could have. Even with such a small income, I ate healthier, maintained an active lifestyle, and had some of the best adventures of my life. Now, imagine if I had actually planned my journey in advance. Imagine if, before I left, I had built even one small source of income: a rental property, a YouTube channel, an online business, dividend-paying investments, freelance work I could do from anywhere. Now, instead of simply surviving abroad, I'm thriving. Instead of watching every dollar, I'm exploring without constantly worrying about money. Instead of trading all of my time for income, my assets are helping fund the adventure. Financial freedom isn't just about retiring someday. It's about giving yourself the ability to say yes to opportunities while you're still young enough to fully experience them. Because money isn't the destination, it's the vehicle. Most people spend decades trying to earn enough money to finally live. By harnessing the power of Geo Arbitrage, you don't need as much money as you think. Maybe you simply need a different map. You only get one character, one playthrough, one life. Don't spend the entire game standing in the starting city. Go explore, learn a language, meet incredible people, take on the adventure. Because the best investment might not be another stock, it might be the person you become along the way.